All right, all right, all right. What up, everybody? What up, what up? What up, what up? Woo! Definitely going to be another doozy. 1 second. All right, back up in the building, back up in the building. Had to readjust my headset. Trying to make sure, like, the way that I hold my headset, trying to make sure it doesn't hurt. Oh, man, long story. Uh, but yeah, we're back. We're back. We are back. Yes, indeed, we're back. What's good, Brown Dude Life? What's good, fam? Yeah, make sure y'all hit that like button, getting up in the building. What's good, Fire Pack? Good to see you once again, fam. Good to see you once again. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Cause last night was very, very cool. You know what I'm saying? It was awesome. But one thing that I noticed is it seems that some folks had some nihilism, if you will. And I'm starting to see this happen more often. Okay. And what nihilism is really is people that have skepticisms or they reject certain truths or principles. Um, and basically, this goes for there was just a couple of people in the chat last night that I noticed has some nihilism. So, but what I mean overall is that we've seen this throughout these spaces, if you will, no matter what color sector, if you will, but just through these spaces out here on YouTube, but even in other mainstream spaces like Instagram, TikTok, you name it. But here at this channel, nihilism, yes, nihilism is forbidden and it is prohibited. So, all my moderators, and I'll repeat this again, but y'all got a wonderful task tonight. If y'all see anybody talking very doubtfully in the chat, feel free to put them on timeout. And then if they continue on, well, they just gonna have to go. You're just gonna have to kick them out because we want to be positive over here. Like I said, we're very white pilled. We're definitely very white pilled over here. So we want to keep it that way. We want to be pure. We want to be positive. We don't want to be nihilists. Okay. So you got a lot of guys that even say, like, there was some people that were kind of saying yesterday about, well, if she likes you, she likes you. If she don't, she don't. But this idea that she don't, we're not thinking about that because we hear about how some of them don't like men all the time. Check out what just happened with Mia Khalifa, how she was just married to a guy for she was legally married to a guy for a couple of years. Yes, the biggest star that you could think of within her cinema world. Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about. She just divorced. And what did Mia Khalifa say? She said, "I just give up on men." But it seems like all these chicks are doing that these days. They're just wanting to divorce and give up on men. And then you got guys saying the same thing. And so now you're hearing all this content out here. Men giving up on women and women giving up on men. Yes, the black pill can be very depressing, Fire Pack. I hear a lot of guys on Instagram talking about all this wickedness about female nature allegedly. Like, you got to treat them as they are. There's nothing you can do about it. She's going to be one way, so you might as well be a similar way she is so you can avoid all of these things that come with her female nature, if you will. And I'm like, last time I checked, the cliche goes, life is what you make of it, or what we say over here, life is what you mac of it. Okay. So we are trying to put aside all of these impossibilities because when it's all said and done, I'm possible and you're possible. Nothing is impossible, only what you make not possible. But all things are possible. All things are possible to those that believe. You have to believe. That's the problem. So you got people that even talk about not even having hope. So when we're talking about these cosmic discussions, you have to be hopeful, but you have to be beyond hope. You have to shoot for the stars and you have to know you have it. Okay? Now, let's continue to go. You said Brown do life. Black pill folks are nihilists and so are the manosphere watchers. They're quote unquote red pill, but nihilism took over them thanks to the current creators. Facts. Yeah, they've taken stoicism too far too. I'm like, yo, we gotta have balance, man, with the feminine and the masculine. One can't live without the other. See, the masculine can live without the feminine, but only for so long. That's not the way the creator intended for things to be. And of course, the feminine, she cannot live without the masculine overall because she's designed to be attaching herself to him. Okay. You said Brown do life. 95% of the manosphere content I definitely review. I do too. I'm with you on that. Then you said, Brown dude, the other Ray J, I think the chicks say that stuff to trigger people. Oh yeah, you already know. You said, who gives a F what Mia Khalifa is doing? LOL. Yeah, right. Why did she even have to even, why people, why the paparazzi had to follow her? Like, I was surprised she was even married. Yep, you're right, Fire Pack. Divinity rules when it's all said and done. And we're going to talk a little more about this divinity in regards to her cosmosis. Now, I'm going to go over more of breaking down that definition of what I believe is cosmosis towards the latter part of this live stream. So stay tuned. But let's continue on, pick up where we left off. And one of the things that I mentioned that kind of stirred some people a certain way yesterday was when I quoted the scripture that said, "The meek shall inherit the earth." And then I threw out there a little trinket that said, "The meek shall invade her cosmos." It's basically the same thing as inheriting the earth. You're inheriting her earth, if you will. It is yours, fellas. These women, these feminine gender out here are still yours, despite the state that they're in, because they'll have to gravitate to your starship. They'll have to gravitate to your energy. They'll have to gravitate. And you don't have to be a high value man for this to take place. Just be a high vibrational man. Be of a higher caliber, higher vibration. And this is how she will have to be drawn to you. She has no choice. But let's even talk like this, because I don't want to seem like I'm talking like from the standpoint of how to be successful at getting women. No, here's the thing. This helps you not to deal with certain types of females either, given how some of their nature will be as well, because you already are operating at a higher vibration, all the while at the same time still not being a nihilist, still not being a misogynist, as some say. But what I want to say is all the while not being like a chauvinist either. I'm not really one for the chauvinist mindset. You have some guys that think that way, that want to be feeling like they're superior over people. But see, that goes back to not being meek. Okay. Being a chauvinist is not being meek whatsoever. And the creator, last time I checked, he wasn't even like that amongst us, what he has created. He was humble. And so he only will work through humble people, vessels that have yielded to this thing called divinity. Divinity to me is humility in many ways. When you have a divine power, you are humble with those divine powers that you have. With great power comes great responsibility. Okay. But see, um, let's continue on because I kind of want to repeat some of the things that I said yesterday because I want to get y'all to kind of go with this where I was wanting to pick up where I left off yesterday. Okay, so where I picked off, we're picking up where I left off from. Okay, uh, I said one of the things is, then again, one could argue that you can still have a transactional connection with the transfer of energy too. And that's just because, a lot of the females that aren't women out here are now like, guys don't even want to approach me no more. But they don't realize it was never supposed to be that way in the first place. Not only gender roles have changed, principles have changed, but you know what? I believe that things are also starting to sort of leave the opportunity out there for other things to change for the better, like get it back into its proper natural state. Where actually women come to the men versus the men coming to the women. Because the feminine attaches herself to the man. The man doesn't attach himself to the woman, but he obviously appreciates the attachment. He wants to keep the attachment with her because she attaches herself to him. But yeah, in regards to this transactional connection that I don't believe in, you know what I'm saying? Uh, last time I checked, uh, when you do a transactional connection, if you will, last time I checked, that's like a utility bill. You got to pay to be connected to service for your house, for your lights to be on, and things like that. I don't know about y'all, but I definitely don't want my connection to have a bill attached to it. I don't. You said Brown do life. They want to feel superior, but they're still males. Facts. They wouldn't know what to do if a good feminine woman were to come around. No, they wouldn't know what to do at all. They'll, in many ways, they'll become their own monster because they really have no one to conquer. They end up consuming themselves. That's kind of what I think is starting to take place and take shape. We just don't realize it. We're going to start seeing more sociopathic and psychopathic behaviors take place with a lot of these channels, these creators, these content, more so content destroyers. Yeah, you said Brown do life. The other Ray J. There's no genuine desire at all, hence transactional connections. That's true. And then you said Fire Pack. What happens when you invade a black female? Uh oh, okay, I see what you're saying. You was trying to tie in because I did say a female black knight. But yeah, a female black knight. Okay. Well, we could also relate that to black females too though, but but yeah, you specifically said Fire Pack. What happens when you invade a female black knight's cosmos? But see, that's the thing. That's the thing, Fire Pack. She didn't become of a Black Knight type until you invaded her. And of course, for those listening and you didn't know, check out my playlist titled A Black Knight's Perspective, where you will see the title of those live streams called Female Black Knights. But that's for clickbait. That's for clickbait because she's technically not a female Black Knight. She is a Twilight, but she becomes a Twilight upon her cosmos being invaded by a Black Knight type of guy. And I believe in this day and age, to be honest, I think there's no other way for this to take place. It's going to take Black Knight guys. I believe only a Black Knight can invade a cosmos. Now, you're going to have planetary connections though. So I'm not disregarding other types of connections and unions, but they just more or less represent uh, the greater galactical, you know. But the specifics of it is the cosmoses that were truly invaded, not these earths that are just merely inhabited, if you know what I mean. So, uh, but yeah, with that said though, um, I'm going to talk more about the other aspect of this with the chicks that are called madams. They're not twilights, but they're madams. So that alludes more to what you possibly meant, Fire Pack. You probably didn't realize that, but there is a certain chick that has been aware of a certain aura of what a Black Knight could be, even though she's never truly experienced that. But she has what it takes to receive that. And this chick is called a madame. Okay. So it's a unique story with the Madame versus the Twilight upon her cosmos being invaded. Okay. The Madame is more closely associated with this idea of a female Black Knight, even though, like I said, that doesn't really exist. But the Madame would be more closely associated with that versus the Twilight. But ideally, you want the Twilight, not the Madame. But the Madame is cool too. She's cool too, as long as she's trying to be cool with you. You said Brian do life. And thanks to the so-called red pill, the gender divide on the internet will get worse from here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you got all these once again, all these nihilists, all this nihilistic talking, these cynical kind of talks and things like that. And it's just like what you said earlier, Firepack. It's depressing. It's sad, you know. I've just always been the type of guy that I be about positivity. I mean, with all the hate, there's gonna be love around me. Like Marvin Gaye said, war is not the answer. Only love can conquer hate. So that's how I am. A chick could be hating me all she want, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be like, well, when it's all said and done, I would love to kick it with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't have nothing against you. I wish I could just give you a hug or something and we could just call it a day and we could chill. And that'll make her look stupid like, dang, he ain't even trying to hate me like that. Even though I just try to go off on him and he's still looking at me out of love. That gets them irritated. It's like the witches. You know how the witches be when they be coming across someone that's trying to show love, and the witches, they feel like somebody stabbed them in the chest. They be like, oh no, don't say that word love. Don't say that word love. There's no way love exists. And so we see that. We see that out here with the feminine and the masculine that are less feminine and they are less masculine. That's what we see out here in these spaces right now. Hey, what's good, Wando? Good to see you, fam. Good to see you again. But yeah, man, I don't know about y'all, but once again, I definitely don't want my connection to have a bill attached to it. Either she's going to be a fulfillment in my life or she's going to be a bill attached to my life, like the case with what's going on with Dr. Dre, as I alluded to the other day. That's sad. Hey, check this out, ladies. If you end up a bill in a man's life, you were never good for him in the first place. You should not be any type of a burden to a man. You should not be a bill to a man. If a man is doing things for you or buying things for you or paying attention to you, it's based on an investment. It's not based on an expense. It's not based on a bill. It's based on the fact that he likes you and this is what he wants to do for you. And it's based on the reciprocation of even the things you've been doing for him. That's what it comes down to, ladies. Never be a man's bill, never be a man's burden. Okay. See, a real woman is a fulfillment in a man's life, but a female is a bill in a man's life. And she's always wanted his dollar bills, dollar bills, y'all. Like I said yesterday, given the date of this live stream, you got a lot of chicks out here that say that money makes me come. You know, that money gets me wet, right? That's the chick that's a bill in your life. She's not trying to be a fulfillment in your life. She's just trying to be another bill in your life. You don't need that because the stakes get higher. And then you got that statement: it's cheaper to keep her. Psh, forget that. And I think Dr. Dre was trying to fight that. He couldn't even get rid of her. And literally, she didn't want to be with him either. So that statement is cheaper to keep her has an asterisk. It definitely has an asterisk. Because even though they might say it's cheaper to keep her, who said she wants to be kept? Okay, so if you don't want to be kept, why do you want to keep his money? It's crazy, but that's definitely another conversation. It gets really crazy because it makes you wonder with all this cosmic talk, does she really want the cosmos invaded? Or does she want her checking account invaded? You have to really think about that because it ties in with what I've said before about the high value man versus the high vibrational man. If she's not talking about the spirit first, but she's talking about money and jobs and careers and what type of house you gotta have, or if you do have a place you got and you better not be homeless, that's the chick that's not trying to have a cosmic conversation with you. That's the chick that's trying to have a e-commerce, a commerce conversation, not a cosmic conversation, a commerce type of conversation. Okay, let's keep going. You said Brown do life. The other Ray J, the wounded masculine and wounded feminine. Facts, 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 facts. Yes, indeed. hmm But see, check this out also. Most folks have transactions, not interactions. Even out here in these spaces, like um, these spaces, I said space, like cosmic space, okay? But we don't see stars formed. We're seeing stars destroyed. We're not seeing interactions. We're not. We're not. We're seeing exploding galaxies in these spaces. We're seeing Star Wars in these spaces. And of course, the feminine in her life, she's dealt with many Star Wars to where she doesn't know how to deal with an invasion of her cosmos because she's been so much trying to fortify her her sector, if you will, whether in these spaces, if you will, in her own personal space, it doesn't matter. Okay. But like I said, based on that cup, that flying saucer, the cup sitting on the saucer. By the way, fellas, hey, I just said flying saucer. Just say this next time when you're out there. Don't just say that you're fly. Nah, say that I'm so fly of a saucer. Yes. Yeah, don't say that you fly. Say that I'm so fly of a saucer. You see what I'm saying? But it's because of the fact that like the coffee mug that you saw on the thumbnail is resting on the flying saucer. So she needs to be at peace, resting amongst you, resting up, resting when you beam her up as Scotty into your Starship Enterprise. Now, the Starship Enterprise that I speak of is actually your inner feminine. Okay, her outer feminine must reflect your inner feminine. Okay, so she needs to be just as intrepid as the starship that showed up to her planet. She has to match that same type of frequency. If she's not doing that, then she'll never boldly go where no woman has gone before. She'll never do that. She'll never do that. And of course, in many ways, you've done that in her life, but she hasn't even appreciated it. So it's like you can go a certain place with her, or you can want to take her there, but she'll get nervous. It's the unknown, it's the abyss. Okay. A lot of chicks want to be surface level with you. They don't want to go into the deep abyss of space. They'd rather just be amongst the space junk that's out here. You said Brown do life. Um, without a without a genuine life purpose, Brifoldt's law makes sense for transactional relationships between the genders. Facts. It ties in with the matrix grid. It all ties in. And that's how most folks live on a regular basis, how they living their best life. When you see them going out there and they're at parks and they're barbecuing and they doing all this stuff that, hey, I want a boat. I want to get on some lake or river with a fast boat. I want to do those things. But when they do those things, they're talking about money. They're talking about their carnal ways of living. They're not talking from a cosmic level of even making sure that the people around them and even people they don't know are okay. They're not really reaching for the stars, okay? They'd rather stay on earth, bound to earth. You see? Uh but this idea of even staying in touch, because I mentioned that yesterday, I won't go back over that again. I won't go back over that again. Uh, but I just want to add to this. The lack of one staying in touch, that mostly represents her. She's gotten out of touch of the starship that comes by her planet, not orbiting her planet, but sometimes passes through to check on you, sweetie. But she's gotten out of touch of that, okay? Now, it only represents a lack on a guy's part if you, my brother, keep putting up with her inconsistencies. Never put up with her inconsistencies. Never, because your presence is not to be taken for granted. Okay? Not whatsoever. You said fire pack. The other rage, why do women only want to be surface level? Ooh, yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. Because within them is something deeper that a lot of them know that they cannot activate on their own. Okay. It takes an outer entity, an outer source, an unknown source to get within her, to reach into that inner, deeper masculine within her, to tap into that. It takes an outer entity. So a lot of them just really want to keep certain things outside, very base level. Overall, she might just want a guy that can make her laugh, but not a guy that can get deep into her heart. Okay. So things like that. She just doesn't like the unknown. It scares her. Okay. It's too much. We talk about the unknown in regards to the deep, uncharted waters, but we never talk about the unknown in regards to the cosmic, in regards to the galactical. I think that's also very important. Okay. I think that's also very important. But getting back to this idea of her being attached to a man, right? Her being a rib. Okay. And I know that me and Ice, we've talked before about this, and he brought up a great perspective about rib can be an acronym of resting in belief. Okay. So that's what she should represent. The fact that she's resting in belief, kind of like she's resting on your flying saucer with her coffee mug in regards to her needing space, but you're giving her the type of galactic cosmic space that she never had before. With you, she feels peace. With you, she feels tranquility. With you, she's feeling all this cosmic wonder she never experienced before from any other guy. Okay. So, um, but that also to me means something else while she sits there and takes a sip of your cosmic drip, if you will. Your drip is not for sale, fellas. Your drip is not for sale. Now, I say this about her being a rib. There's no acronym with what I say, but it's just simply that the rib is designed to support. And so now this has multiple meanings. I won't go too deep in it, but there's more than what meets the eye in regards to her being bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, or as I've said prior, dust of my dust. But she is supposed to be of my bone. She is supposed to be of my flesh. And yes, she is supposed to be of my dust. That's the most important thing, fellas. And she's supposed to, especially as the rib, as the bone, or the bone of my bone. She's supposed to be very supportive, just like those ribs support those vital organs. Okay, that's what she's supposed to be. So if she's not supporting you, she got to go because she's made to support you. I Brown do life. See you in a few, fam. I'll see you in a few. But to continue on, to continue on, and to really kind of break that down more, y'all. If she's not helping or supporting, she has no purpose in your life. Facts. If she's not helping or supporting you, she has no purpose in your life. Don't let her get off and tell you this thing about how she's there to fulfill your sexual desires. No, that's not the only reason why Eve was sent around to Adam. It's not just about pleasure, it's also about purpose. Okay? And they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? You can't have pleasure without the purpose. You can't have purpose without the pleasure. Okay? Got to have both. And then of course you add the third aspect, the procreation, but that's to the feminine gender that is still fertile enough for procreation. But even if she's not fertile enough for procreation, she still can be there for pleasure and purpose. But you cannot have those main two uh, dismissed from your life, even because she may not be able to procreate. That's fine, okay? But she better at least still have purpose and pleasure to offer you both. Not or, it has to be both. Not or, it has to be and. You know what I'm saying? If she's not doing that, she has no purpose in your life. Keep that in mind. So keep that very short, sweet, and to the point with the fellas. And this ties in with her cosmosis because actually, that's all she wants to do with you. If she, once you have invaded her, all she wants to do is make sure that you're being pleased. All she wants to do is make sure that purpose is being fulfilled. All she wants to do, if she's able to, is make sure that she wants to have kids with you, that your name is on those seeds, and that she would never, ever, and I mean never, ever, never, ever mess those seeds up or let any other man come before those seeds. Now I know the kids and all that, that's kind of a problem something to talk about amongst the nihilists that are out there. But I'm gonna say this, fellas. I'm gonna say two things. I'm gonna say one, and y'all gonna have to figure this out. But one is Wakanda, and then two is work on getting your sperm count together. If you haven't checked on it, check on it. Work on getting your semen right. Guys talking about semen retention, holding back semen so much. What about making your semen healthy just in case there's a chance you can work on a new nation amongst the nation that is dying before your eyes right now? Okay. Everybody has their own path. Don't just follow the path of the manosphere and the red pill guys or whatever. Like I said, over here, it's different in this white pill space. We're speaking on the future. In many ways, I am a futurist. In many ways. Okay. But yeah, overall, in other words of what I was just saying a few minutes ago, a lot of females prove a lot around the world. A lot of females that aren't women, they prove every day around the world how they don't want to be purposeful in a man's life, or even of pleasure, or even of procreating. They want to sit there and play games and want to betray guys. I know what it's like to be betrayed. It's very painful. I never thought how painful being betrayed can be, but this happens around the world every single day. When she's not trying to be supportive of a man as she's designed to be. But see, also at the same time, take heed. Those same type of females also get brutally dealt with if they're caught red-handed with the games that they're playing. They get brutally dealt with in certain parts of the world. Okay. I'm not, I'd say even here in the United States, that happens to a certain extent too. You know, I'm not saying it's right, or this is what I want guys to do and I advocate for it. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that some guys take matters into their own hands when they do feel like someone was playing games and they do feel like someone betrayed them and things like that. Things like this do happen. Now, what I will say from my perspective at this channel, fellas, you know what? Your Starship Enterprise is so great. Just leave her rotten planet behind. No matter what you find out she did, you don't have to resort to violence. Just let her planet rot and you leave that planet behind at warp speed. Or, some guys say breakneck speed. Either way, just leave her planet behind. Let her planet rot as you warp away. You don't even fly away. You warp away. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, some females think that love is through the form of certain apps where guys give them money. These guys she will never see in person, but you know, she willing she willingly shows off for these beta orbiters, for validation. She does this for validation. She's not seeking love, she's seeking validation. She'll never see any of these guys in person. No, she'll never see any of these guys in person. So think about that, fellas. Like the chick that you get around, she has to be the type to want to see you in person if you met her, online and things like that. And yeah, she's not catfishing you at all. That too, that's important. Um, don't ever get with a chick that you'll never be able to see her face because she don't want to show her face. Yeah, X chicks like that out. I've ran into chicks like this before, and I don't deal with chicks that don't want to show me their face, or I can't never see them in person. They get X'd out quick. Okay, how can you invade a cosmos that you never get to see, that you don't even know what it looks like in person? You have never ventured there before with your starship. There's no way you can't. There's no way. So hey, she got to go. Just let her be. Okay. Let her have other orbiters in her life. Oh yeah, that's true, Wando. Yeah, man, this is all a facade. It's all a facade. But you know what? I think things are changing though because of the Me Too movement. Uh, they figured they're not getting approached by guys, so they'll be trying to be a chameleon online. But yeah, it still ties in with what you're saying though, uh, in many ways. But they'll keep trying to be out there to get a certain guy, and that's cool. But you can't be trying to treat a guy like he's a fool because he's just gonna leave you out there hanging, if you will, gonna leave you on that long line to dry off in that sun. But there's no starship coming by, you know, leave you out there to dry out in the sun, sweetie. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter if you got the WAP. Guy gonna leave you out there drying in the sun. Okay. You said fire pack. Is a woman opening up about their past drama an example of her cosmos being invaded? Yes, yes, that is an example, Fire Pack. That's definitely a good example. All right, let's keep going. But yeah, with in regards to a lot of these females that aren't women seeking the validation instead of the love, it's a euphoria. It's definitely a euphoria uh, that she would never want to have with just one guy, okay? Because she's thinking masculine at that time. You got a chick that be like, well, these guys are talking about having more than one woman. How come I can't have more than one man? Because, sweetie, that's a masculine thing to do, not a feminine thing to do for you to have multiple partners like that. The feminine is designed to be monogamous. The masculine isn't designed to be monogamous. Yes, it's taboo, but it is what it is. It's the truth. And I might as well say it. But when she is trying to be more masculine, she's not satisfied with just that one guy. Okay. She would rather have her orbiters. She likes orbits or likes to orbit. You see, she likes that. She likes that type of world. So think about out here in these spaces. Once again, getting it back to these spaces. You see where they orbit at, fellas. You see where they orbit at. And ladies that are listening to me in the clouds or on the replay, the real women, not the typical females. Y'all see these chicks out here, they like the orbiters, or they also like to orbit. They like to be in those very dark and decrepit planets, those dark and decrepit galaxies before her. You know, these places that have no positive energy, just all gossip, always talking about somebody in those places. And if you did show up there with any truth or substance, people will shun that. People will try to overtalk you when you're over there trying to talk to them. Okay. So just avoid places like that, y'all. If you on that positive, stay away from the negative. Okay. I do that to the best of my ability every single day. When y'all see me out here, whether on YouTube or if you run into me in person, I'm like this all the time. I don't change. I am who I am. Okay. Now, most of the feminine gender, the least feminine, they don't want to be loosed. Like, TD Jake's uh, movie series, Woman, Thou Art Loosed. Yeah, most of the feminine gender don't want to be loosed. They rather be loose. Yes, they don't want to be loosed. They want to be loose, or they want to be Luciferian. Look at a lot of them getting those nose rings on their nose. Look it up. It ties in with the Luciferian. The stars that they put on themselves also ties in with the Luciferian, the fallen star. Okay, look this up. Look up the morning star. Look all this up. It ties in with the Luciferian. Okay. Now, another thing I want to bring up, uh, this idea of mode one, because a lot of times I touch upon Alan Roger Curry. He's one of the one of the main content creators that I do talk about at this channel. So if there is someone that I do talk about a lot, obviously there's something that resonates to me about their channel that I think I could draw from, if you will, but put my own spin on it. But in regards to his mode one, I often have wanted to talk to Alan Roger Curry about mode one of tomorrow. So even if someone sends this live stream to Alan Roger Curry, or if you're checking this out, Alan, we need to chop it up about mode one of tomorrow. What will that look like? Because I think that's what is starting to happen slowly but surely. And I've been over mode one many times before, but my main thing now is that I'll just lightly say that it goes back to that magnetism. Okay. It goes back to that. It goes back to one that is drawn to you. You didn't have to necessarily walk up to them to spark a conversation. It's just based on a certain way that she starts connecting with you that actually sparks a conversation instead. Okay. But with a lot of the feminine gender, with a lot of them, they're becoming less primal, but definitely more stray or feral, yet never wild. Now, what do I mean by less primal? Because primal has a lot to do with being wild. So, really, what I mean by primal is just living off nature. Okay. Living off nature. Wild means that you are of the nature. Your whole personality is of the nature. Whereas primal is like you're living off the nature, you're living off the land. Okay. But with a lot of the feminine gender, they're not like that. They're more stray, more feral, not really knowing where to go, but just knowing how to get by. That's what we see with them. And do we not do y'all not see that? We see it all the time. What's good, Venom? Good to see you again tonight. You said yeah, he's confirming exactly what I said. Appreciate that. He said, there's no such thing as a female Black Knight. There's Twilight and Valkyrie, of which you will recognize if you are a Black Knight or former Black Knight, now monk. They willingly absorb and reciprocate your energy. Facts. And that's another thing. Uh, yeah, we probably gonna have to talk more about that Valkyrie Venom, because I mentioned the Madame just a few minutes ago, but the Valkyrie is another aspect of this conversation. The Valkyrie is. A lot of people sleep on Valkyries. They do, and I believe there are modern day Valkyries. Okay, but people sleep on it. I'm glad you brought that back up, Venom. All right, but yeah, it reminds me also, like, well, overall with what I've been saying so far. Uh, I had a conversation in a previous live stream with somebody about this idea of adulthood. Okay. And I've always felt that adulthood isn't default, because you have certain countries around the world where, especially in the Caribbeans, they don't really believe in this thing called manhood and womanhood. You know what I'm saying? They just talk about like adulthood. There's no such thing as manhood and womanhood amongst a lot of the Caribbean people. They have a sense of gender equality. Some can say gender neutrality too, which I don't. When I see the word neutrality, sometimes in the case of the gender, I just think neutrality neutered. Y'all get where I'm going with that. But but yeah, adulthood to me isn't default. It's more so a tree, and that tree is consisted of the branches of womanhood and manhood. Okay, so when you say adulthood, break down adulthood, because that's different for a woman and that's different for a man. Adulthood, that's different. So that's why womanhood and manhood exists. Some people say adulthood as a means of equality. I don't see it that way. Manhood and womanhood are definitely not the same. Okay. So it just cannot be lumped into one category as adulthood. And we just have to accept this in regards to what maturity and relations are. See, that's the problem when everybody's trying to make it so equal without realizing that, okay, she's of the feminine and I am of the masculine. We're ultimately are not going to see things the same way. We're not going to behave the same way. Okay. There's just a lot of things about us that are different. But now we are starting to see a change where a lot of things are becoming more androgynous. Now, my thing is also, and I'll bring that up later down the road, this idea of androgyny, but I would say that blurs this idea of invasion of a cosmos. Because when I say that, that sounds very much like the feminine and the masculine uh, divine order taking place. But what happens when you remove this idea of the feminine and the masculine? I believe this idea of the invasion of the cosmos ceases to exist. It ceases to exist. So what is it then? Hmm. I'll have to ponder on that and talk to y'all about that later. What happens then if society no longer experiences or even knows about the invasion of the cosmos? What happens when the invasion of the cosmos actually goes away? Okay. But see, here's my thing also, getting back to the adulthood talking point. Womanhood isn't being taught these days, in my opinion. Manhood is starting to be taught, but it still has its rough edges, as one can obviously see. But, hopefully I've been making things kind of smooth for y'all, overall. Believe it or not, some females like the idea of actually subduing a man instead of, my bad, let me rephrase that. Believe it or not, some females like the idea of subduing instead of submission, because we talked about submission last night. But yeah, I guess maybe it wasn't a mistake that I just mentioned about a lot of them like the idea of subduing a man. Okay, but that's for another conversation. I'm just trying to tie in a more feminine, masculine approach with the conversation of just what she would desire out of a guy if she were to somewhat be feminine. She don't want to really submit. She would rather be subdued. That now they'll try to mask that, you know what I'm saying, and say that's submission. No, 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 no. That's still not submission, sweetie. That's you still wanting to be subdued. You rather be subdued instead of fully submitting, because submission actually takes work. It takes work, okay? Enter BDSM, okay? Because for certain females, if done in a controlled environment, you know, they feel that it's better for their mind, because that's their concept of womanhood, is the BDSM, is being subdued, because they think that's true submission when it's not at all whatsoever. You said, Venom, the pesticides, GMO, and say are the three major factors. Oh, you said the pesticides, GMO, and soy are the three major factors other than indoctrination to cause chemical castration, sexual confusion, and physical manipulation, all to control the masses with no resistance. Yep, in a nutshell. In a nutshell. And if you can just make it to where it's hard for a planet to get, it's hard for a spaceship or starship to get through that planet, well, you've succeeded. If you make it to where it's hard for those vessels to get through that galaxy, that cosmos, you've succeeded. You basically make that planet similar to what Jupiter is. It's hard to get through the atmosphere of Jupiter. Yeah, you turn this whole planet into a gas ball. That's what Jupiter is, right? So, yeah, control the masses, you turn the planet into gases. Facts. Okay. But yeah, let's continue to roll, y'all. Where we are at 51 minutes in this live stream. I think I'm doing pretty good on this live stream. We're doing pretty good on time. Yep, exactly. Gas giant, Venom. Yep. So that could actually allude to what I mean by what happens when you no longer have this idea of where you can invade a cosmos, a planet. It just becomes ineffectively a gas giant that you just want to avoid. Excuse me. I mean, what? They said a hurricane on Jupiter is, whew, it's a beast. It's larger than several planet Earths, and it's been waging for years. And there's no telling how fast the speeds of that hurricane are in Jupiter. Okay. And it seems no matter what hits Jupiter, if it's an asteroid, that actually just adds fuel to the fire or to the gas of Jupiter. So it's basically a corrupt planet that's only going to get more corrupt. That's what I see in regards to Jupiter. Okay. And other planets like it, other cosmoses like it. No, I meant cosmoses plural, not as a word cosmoses. Okay. But see, also getting back to what I'm saying, a lot of PIs recognize a female's urge for BDSM. They notice, the PIs notice that these feminine gender are damaged wombs out here that won't understand unless, you know, they won't really understand this idea of a connection, no matter what type of a connection it is. Of course, with those type of chicks, it's a transactional connection. But even if there's somewhat of a sign of love, right? She's not going to understand that unless it involves pimp slaps, whips, and chains. You know, those are the same type of damaged wombs that always cry out in need for a man to dominate her. Usually, this means that with her PTSD, the notion of fighting poison with poison, torture with torture, domination with domination, dominatrix. Get it? So, what I just said was real deep, because I said what? Fighting poison with poison. Why? Because she was poisonous herself. So, she needs someone just as poison as she is. Fighting torture with torture, because she used to torture a lot of people in her lifetime herself. You have the rare occasion of where she was turned out and put in a certain situation. But usually those type of chicks that were turned out want to get out of that situation. Yeah, they literally want to get out of that situation. The chicks that were turned out want to get out. But the chicks that want the PTSD and they want this guy to dominate her, that's because she was dominant herself in her own way. So, like I said, fighting poison with poison because she was poisonous, fighting torture with torture because she used to torture people, and fighting domination with domination, if you will, because she used to be dominant and dominatrix. So she needs someone that's just like her, if not worse. Okay. Now, after so long, even the PI will tell you, and not to spill too much beans, but even they get tired of that stuff. They need something more docile. Look, I know we're in a dark place with what we're doing in our lives, but we could at least be some type of sunshine to each other. That's how a lot of the PIs really feel out here. Okay. They don't want to be dealing with all that toxicity, despite the fact that they are in a toxic environment. Nobody wants to deal with that. So that tells me that, people got some common sense in a lot of things, no matter what type of life they're living. You see what I'm saying? You said, Brown do life. Liberal females in BDSM because they know they're full of malarkey living in inauthentic life. Right. They think they have a life, but they don't. And they want to have this thing what they call an escape, but they're not escaping. They're still stuck. See, a real woman actually wants space, okay, that true galactic space. But a typical female is just trying to escape, but really has nowhere to go. You see what I'm saying? She has nowhere to go still. Okay. But yeah, getting back to this idea of her being a dominant person, so she wants to be dominated. But yeah, y'all know me at my channel. I don't just like I don't like to say the word manipulation. I really don't say the word domination either, because yours truly is not a dom. I'm a master, mastermind, master of her mind. So I've never had to dom. I've always, I've never had to dominate. I've always been able to direct. Okay. So it's different for me. Okay. But yeah, in her case, with that particular feminine gender, in regards to the domination, being dominated by someone she feels a commonality with, you know, her common denominator, pretty much her twisted sense of love. Domination to me represents subduing, not submission. Now, this makes y'all wonder, and this is something that I could probably talk about later in regards to the feminine gender. Do a lot of them really have personality, or do they have commonality in regards to their essence, their being as the feminine? Do they really have personality, or do they just have commonality? Makes you wonder, because you see with a lot of them, they end up becoming like the very people they end up around. They never really are who they say they are, or who they call original. Like, there's only a select few of the feminine that are like that. And even this idea of a twilight, the twilight is even trying to be, she's trying to be as unto the Black Knight that she met. She's not trying to be of her own entity. So that's why I've always had a question mark beside this idea of, does the feminine really have a personality, or does she have just commonality? Food for thought. Let that marinate, y'all. You said Wando. Real dominatrix are feminine, though. The media has it wrong. Facts. I concur. Yes, I concur with that, fam. I really do. Um, I really do. So it's kind of like, more or less, even with her, she could have probably been the type that got turned out more so than her just wanting to be a certain way. Um, so yeah, that's definitely a gray area there for sure. But yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from, Wando. You know, um, you said Brown do life. ARC coaches men and women on BDSM. So boom, there you go. There you go. Not going to say too much about that, but y'all know I speak on cosmic, and to me, BDSM, it has nothing to do with the cosmic. It's everything that's earthly. You talk about these chakras. Nah, BDSM don't involve the chakras, you know. But even so, I would say like with the cosmic, this idea of a chakra, um, that's earthly, that's within your body. Like you have to get outside of your body. So even if someone tries to debate about if BDSM involves the chakras or not, when you're speaking on cosmic, it's outer body. So therefore, BDSM doesn't really apply to a cosmic connection. Submission is cosmic too. Okay. Subduing is not cosmic. None of that is. Okay. Um, but yeah, continuing on with a lot of things like her self love is very toxic. Only men actually self love. Why you think she's depressed without a man? They can only try to have this idea of self love for so long because the mind to create is actually a masculine thing. This is why men can actually self love because he loves those things that reflect his creation or his invention. But this is the closest thing that the feminine gets to feeling this self love. Y'all want to know what that is? That is when she's having a baby. That's why she's more attached and has more of a masculine feeling towards a child that's birthed from her, if you will. Even though, mind y'all, birthing actually is masculine, not feminine. The feminine were cursed with the birthing, with the pain of birth. But nevertheless, that's the only thing that makes her feel some type of way in regards to the self love or what she thinks she's created. Okay. Even though it's based on procreation, not her creation. But yeah, that's when you start to get into a lot of arguments with them, right? Now, I want to touch upon something very, very amazing for y'all here shortly. Let me see how much more I got to talk to y'all about. A few more things I think I got on my mind, and then we should be done for tonight. I think I would have wrapped up a lot of what I wanted to say in regards to her cosmosis. And of course, I have not forgotten towards the latter part or the end part of this live stream, I'm going to wrap up all of this with my thoughts on cosmosis overall. And you said, Wando, the man serves her because she's a oh, you was talking to Brown Do Life. You said Wando also, you said this to me. You said most men only do things for women. Few do things for themselves. Well, it goes back to the way a lot of guys are brought up and born as white knights. They weren't taught about what their true masculinity is, and that it should be them doing things for themselves. Okay. I mean, hey, I can even say that for me. I've done a lot of things for people, and there was a lot of things I haven't done for myself. And I realized there are parts of my life where I look back and I realize there's some stunning growth there. I have to accept that. My inner feminine has to accept that there's some parts of my outer masculine that represents stunted growth. But we making changes every day, y'all. Yours truly is catching up. I'm getting up to speed. I promise y'all I am. Okay. And I encourage y'all to do the same thing. Start doing more for yourself. Start doing more for yourself. You said Wando, and BDSM is more than just whips and chains. It's psychological also. The man sees she's weak and he does what she wants. Yep, that's true too. That's true too. That's facts. Yep. But all of that still represents that BDSM aspect. And without bringing up in regards to like invading her cosmos, it's like truly the opposite of the BDSM. Yeah. You said Wando, and as the Dom, you need a purpose job for the sub to do. The woman controls in the back while the man leads in the front in most cases. Yeah, man, she mushing them like a sled dog. She got her huskies out front. March, march. She's the Corella of her Dalmatians, her damnation of Dalmatians. But she's the Corella, and she got that lead dog out front, or she got that Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer out front, which by the way, there's a misnomer about those reindeers. They say that the reindeer actually those reindeers possibly are females, not male deers, not male reindeers. That's a side note. Yeah, we could talk about reindeers another day though, y'all. Yeah, but good points, Wando. Very good points. But yeah, here's what I want to add to what I've been saying. Fellas, she must want your vision. She must want the vision. She must want the vision. She must want the vision. Want the vision. You see? She must want the vision, want the vision. Like the TV show Want the Vision. Okay. Yet it's never been about Wanda's vision. See, because the masculine has the vision, but the feminine visualizes. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be. So when you got a chick that's talking about her own vision, she's trying to take upon a masculine position. Okay, Wanda vision, she must want the vision. Yet it should never be about Wanda's vision. Okay, and that kind of gives y'all an idea of what that TV show was about too, what it should have been about. If you don't think that they uh they did the TV show properly, if you will. Um, yeah, WandaVision should be about her wanting the vision, okay, but not her wanting division, like dividing. See, threw that in there, okay. But yeah, let's talk about this Cosmosis, all right? Because I said I'm gonna wrap it up and talk about that. I should be done here. I should be done here. Man, it's been amazing though getting through this live stream these past couple of nights, chopping it up with y'all. But uh overall, Cosmosis now. Of course, it's just my spin on the word osmosis, but I just made it cosmic, okay? But the definition of osmosis, okay? If you look it up, it's just one of the definitions of it, of the osmosis is a process by which molecules of a solvent tend to pass through a semi-permeable membrane from a less concentrated solution into a more concentrated one, thus equalizing both concentrations of the membrane. Okay, keep that in mind because I'm gonna say that definition again. I'm gonna say that again. Keep that definition I just said in mind because it's gonna tie in with why I call this live stream her cosmosis. Okay, here's the second definition. The process of gradual or unconscious assimilation of ideas, knowledge, etc. Okay, that's the second definition of osmosis. Now, about to read to y'all the first definition of osmosis once again, because you'll see why I titled this live stream her cosmosis. Okay, osmosis, a process by which molecules of a solvent tend to pass through a semi-permeable membrane from a less concentrated solution into a more concentrated one, thus equalizing both concentrations. And then I add this in there, okay? Both concentrations of the membrane end up equalized. Without that, she becomes insane to the membrane, insane to the brain, insane in the brain. Because, see, here's the deal. There's a lot you could break down with that definition of osmosis. See, the main part of it was when it said the process by which molecules of a solvent tend to pass through a semi-permeable membrane, meaning that it's hard for that membrane to be penetrated, but you can somewhat still. penetrated. And this passing of molecules that came from a less concentrated solution into a more concentrated one. Fellas, you have a simple solution to a lot of her more complicated and concentrated uh, problems, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like she has all these concentrated solutions, yet you have a very simple solution. Her concentrated solutions has led to a lot of problems. Now, see, she's came up with all these different solutions based on, you know, all the things she's been around. Y'all know about this. Y'all know about the monkey branching. Y'all know about the carousel. Y'all know about the dual mating strategy. Y'all know about the hypogamy. That's where she got all this concentrated solution from, you know. But you stepped in and you caused that cosmosis to take place by invading her cosmos, making things more simplified in her life, despite how complicated she's made herself out to be, despite how complicated she's made her composition out to be. This is where you get this term, well, we got good chemistry. You see what I'm saying? That's where you get that term from. So simply put, fellas, to make this simple, if she's still trying to be complicated with you, despite how simple you've been making things with her, well, just leave her cosmos alone. You won't get no cosmosis out of that. You won't be able to invade her in the way that you desire. She is no longer semi-permeable. She's just permeable. She's impenetrable. But see, the invasion is imminent. It's never planned. Meaning, like when you show up, you just show up, right? You just show up. Now, she might be observing that there's something coming to her planet, kind of like they do when they detect that, oh, there could be like some asteroid or meteor that's going to probably show up. Like they could try to detect it, but it's still not something that they can truly plan for. They can just probably try to predict it, but it's still always an imminent thing, if you will. Not a matter of if, but when. But she'll try to avoid it as much as possible if she's not trying to increase her vibration for your invasion. And with that said, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. No formal closing statement tonight, but y'all know what it is. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all share this live stream as well as my other content in my channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. For those that are new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe if you like my content. All my information is in the description section for those that are listening to this on the replay. And, also, oh, yeah, if you want to tip yours truly, that's also in the description section. Not an expectation, not an obligation, but definitely an appreciation if you did want to tip yours truly. You said Brown Do Life. You said I would think that dominatrix is a woman taking a masculine role in BDSM. Oh yeah, most of the time, even when she tries to come off as being feminine, it's still masculine because kind of like what Wando alluded to, her still having control. Even the fact that she has the whip and the chains, like she has control. Like sometimes it's not though. Sometimes she wants a guy to do things to her. Yeah, so some dominatrix they very kinky like that. They actually want a guy to do certain things to her, but it's usually based on her controlling the role play. She wants it to be done a certain way. She wants a guy to still have this dominance about him, but it's really based on her terms and how she wants that to take place. You see what I'm saying? But it's been a blessing chopping it up with y'all. And yeah, I think this will wrap it up here in regards to her cosmic. There's probably more of this type of talk I'm gonna do down the road, but I'm gonna save it for my What Up series because there are a few more things that I could talk to y'all about that I left out. But I figured I could just bring it up during my What Up series. I know I don't know, I'm gonna probably do one here very soon. Probably when I get back home, since I'm still traveling right now as we speak. But yeah, y'all take care, take it easy for the rest of the week. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and got some more uploads in a few days. Much love to y'all. Until next time, signing out. Thanks for stopping by. Much love. And it's only going to get better out here, no matter what it looks like. Don't believe the hype. Do not believe the hype. All right now.